welcome State Senator, Representative. We know that you've been working for us since 1995, been doing a fantastic job, and I know how busy you are and how much is going on. I'm so grateful that all three of them can come. I believe you worked yesterday, didn't you?
Yes.
Yes. So I know this is a huge time for you to get here. We're so grateful. Here she is, Representative Sheryl.
I was there yesterday. You know, I got to do the laundry, I got to clean the bathroom, I got to do the groceries, and I got to go to church. All that had to take place today. So I'm glad to be here. I am excited about this session. I am more excited that we have a Democratic governor. She might say no, but she would not be revengeful. No. And so we appreciate the fact that she will listen and she will make her decision because she knows how to govern. Yeah. We have a very interesting session. I think most of you saw it said chaos in the roundhouse. I have to say that because they were leaving. And there was a call of the house on, and I noticed. And if you've been there around a long time, you have to have your eyes as the floor leader all over the place to watch and observe. And I noticed that the other side had put the call on, went up to the speaker and did like this, take off the call. And he went back to his desk, and then I noticed everyone on the other side started packing their bags. And which means that we could no longer continue with the bills. And so I looked at the sergeant of arms, and one of them was new, and the other one was someone been there a long time, and they were just letting them go, and I said, lock that door! So you know, we may have a lot of that, but overall, I think there's so many things that we have to. Oh, sorry. Yeah. There's so many things that we have to unravel and take care of that had taken place the last 8 years. Whether it's in rules, whether it's in regulation, or whether it's in legislation, we have to look and assess and dissect some of those legislation and take them up in order to make things right. Actually, one of my first bills was part of the rocket docket. However, Madam Chair, it went to the Judiciary Committee. Yeah, exactly. But it's a very important bill. And that bill is for instructional materials and textbooks for public schools. I want to share with you all that I think the conflicts that lies with this piece of legislation is basically you have from the national level the Supreme Court. And most of you who keep track of that might know who's on the Supreme Court. And so on December 13, the Supreme Court ruled that it is not unconstitutional to provide instructional materials to private schools. To religious. However, this particular bill had gone up to the governor 4 different times, and she had vetoed it. This bill came from Ellen Bernstein, Albuquerque Teachers Federation. Therefore, what happened with the bill is you have the Supreme Court ruling and you have the district judge ruling in Santa Fe. It was the state Supreme Court. Our state Supreme Court originally said private schools should not receive it. Then it went to the Supreme Court, U.S. Supreme Court, and they gave back that it's not unconstitutional for religious schools to have it. I am not against religious schools. However, by April 15th, the legislature must prove and must provide that public school in the state of New Mexico is receiving sufficient and adequate funding for public schools. So there goes the conflict of what came down and what my charge is to make sure that public school is receiving sufficiency. So I put forth the bill, and it was rolled over in Madam Chair's committee, and then we had to, when it finally moved to the floor, it went to the end, it went to taxation, and then it came, no taxation came to the floor. It came to the floor, and there was a huge debate on whether or not private schools should be receiving textbooks. What occurred was our parliamentarian added an amendment stating that private schools can receive the textbook as long as they don't discriminate against students.
After our students are sufficient.
And in the law, currently, it is stated that all public school children should receive a textbook. So he added it to that section of law stating that they can receive textbooks after all public school children have received a textbook. I will have you know, never have all public school children received a textbook.
Nope.
I have a child at Highland.
Highland never gets them.
Okay, so we know. And so that bill is now in the Senate, and it's going to be another battle to get it passed. However,
What's the House bill? What's the number of that one?
44.
44.
44?
However, we're going to have, it's a part of the Yazzie Martinez lawsuit. Let's take that up. I have House Bill 5 in the House of Representatives. That bill, along with Mimi Stewart's Senate Bill 1 in the Senate, is to make sure that we have adequate and sufficiency in funding for public education. It's sort of difficult because at the same time, we're trying to move that piece of legislation forward. There's two other legislation coming behind those bills that says the whole state have been receiving impact aid. And impact aid is funding from the federal government as a result of Native American and their reservations receiving those funding, and Kirtland Air Force Base, and Native Americans in Albuquerque who attend public schools. However, individuals have decided to piggyback on the Yazzie Martinez lawsuit and say, we want our money back. And so what you have, they want 100% of that funding back. If that legislation was to pass, Albuquerque Public School would lose $20 million. You all just saw what happened with that election that took place. $20 million from the budget of APS will devastate teachers. The first thing to go is teachers in the classroom. And then what they do is they increase the students in the class sizes bigger than what it's supposed to be because the waiver is going away. So we have a problem in the House with that piece of legislation. It's going to be heard on Monday morning in the Education Committee, the impact aid bill to take away the funding. The total funding funding is $60 million from all the school districts in the state, except school district predominantly Native American like Gallup and Pewaukee and Dulce and all those other school districts. I don't have a problem with them receiving funding or capital outlay, but the Appropriation Committee have not informed me yet. How will they replace the funds that need to go with the impact aid? And therefore, I am not supporting the plan to take away $20 million from Albuquerque Public Schools.
Thank you, Sheryl. Thank you.
In House Bill 5, I have a bill, House Bill 171, asking for $45,000, $55,000, and $65,000 for teacher salary increases. No, that's House Bill 171. But I have House Bill 5. And that's where the money is attached to the budget. And so since I'm carrying that bill, and I need my 45, 55, and 65, I have negotiated. I couldn't get them to agree to give me that 45 right now. But I was able to negotiate by the end of 3 years to give me $46,000 for the level 1 teacher. At the end of 3 years, $56,000 for a level 2 teacher. And the end of 3 years, $66,000 for a level 3 teacher. So that's in my bill going forward. I've already gone behind closed doors and I've already done my battling. But before I did the battling, I went to pray.
Does it go up in the meantime at all?
Oh yeah, they get a raise. That's in addition. The raise is in addition to that.
Oh, okay.
And principals' salary would be commensurate with level 3 teachers' salary.
Their initial. Plus the responsibility bonus, right?
Yes. So at-risk students, that's what the lawsuit is all about. It's all about at-risk students. And with the at-risk student, we have, in my bill, it went up 207%. $239 million is in the budget related to at-risk. And that's students with disability, career technical education. It's all the areas that the judge talked about that need funding to support services and resources to children. It also includes, besides the special ed, it has special ed students in there, but most of all, it has the second language learners, bilingual education, multicultural education. And many of the advocates would like for it to go up more than it is. We've doubled it. They want us to triple it. We are unable to triple it because of the fact, if any of you in education know, we cannot find teachers. We can't find teachers to teach construction technology woods. We can't find them to teach automotive. We can't find them for special ed. We can't find them for math. We can't find them for science. If we had the resources, we would be putting the money towards it. So I'm telling you, this piece of legislation is just the start. It's just a beginning to what we need to do to really fund public education. $500 million is nothing to sneeze at. It's a step in the right direction. And when you have a dissertation, you start, I'm a doctorate, you start with your first 3 chapters, and then you work your way up. And so that's what we're doing now. We are working our way way towards making it equitable and affordable and with sufficiency for public education. That's one more. I have lots more, but one more. and that one more is a very important bill close to my heart. The governor has vetoed it several times. And it's dealing with homeless individuals. It is dealing with mental health, behavioral health. It's dealing with providing homes for these individuals. It's providing health care. Providing counseling. The County Association of Counties adopted my bill, and now it's moving forward with $1.5 million in the budget, whereas before it didn't have any money. And that again is a beginning step, because you know, within all these agencies there are other fundings available that we can look at and grasp to put together to assist these individuals that feel like they are forgotten out there, but we want to be able to take care of them in some way, somehow. So I won't talk about all my other bills. I should only have 5. I think I have 15. As the floor leader, I'm not supposed to have a lot of bills because I have to move all the bills through the House. But I am happy to be here with you, and I'm happy to say that we are working.